Boston College last weekend, identical 41-34 scores there. They both beat in-state FCS teams, Tennessee over Tennessee Tech, Missouri over Southeast Missouri, and then they have both lost an SEC road game. Of course, last weekend, Tennessee fell at Florida 38-14. Missouri lost to Kentucky week 2 by a touchdown. So a lot of similarities. They would like some separation today. Somebody's going to feel a little bit better about themselves. Two guys that feel pretty good about ourselves right here. Dave Neal, Deuce McAllister, glad you could join us. And Deuce, obviously Tennessee's story this week is what's going to happen at their quarterback. It appears that Hendon Hooker, who got hurt last week against Florida and played really well in that first half, is going to get the nod today. Having him back under center the way he played last week, what does that mean for Tennessee?
Well, for Tennessee, it gives him some confidence. I mean, he has the ability to be able to be accurate down the field as far as a passer, but he also gives him the run game element. And I think that's important when you look at this matchup that they have against Missouri.
Well, Tennessee likes to run the football, obviously. They are the second most rushes in the conference behind Arkansas. Missouri's going to have to find a way to shore that up. And speaking of the Tigers, Deuce, it was a tough loss on the road at Boston College last week, and going down in overtime, had some opportunities to win that game, just couldn't pull it out. So as we spin it forward a little bit, where does Missouri go from here? What's their next step to get back to their winning ways? Well,
I think it starts with the defense. I mean, because until they get it straightened out defensively, they really can't do anything from an offensive standpoint. You go back and look at the amount of possessions they had in Boston College, it was limited because they could not get off the field. So I think when you look at overall, you have to be able to get some pressure on the quarterback, but you have to do a better job in the run game.
Yeah, those numbers are not very good. That is the bottom line. I think their offense has played well enough. They just need to shore up their defense, and they'll be tested today. Josh Heupel going to certainly step on the gas as much as he can today. As Tennessee won the toss, they defer, so Missouri will get the football first. Two good offensive young minds going at it today. Eli Drinkwitz and Josh Heupel. Something tells me we're going to have some points on the board today.
I do believe so, sir.
10th meeting between these two clubs. It has been a close series. Hard to believe this goes back to 2012. And we are underway as Toby Wilson puts his right foot into it, and that will sail into the end zone, and Missouri will get the football at the 25-yard line, and Connor Bazelak has been really good. I mean, it's hard to argue with his numbers. Matter of fact, last week was good, but his coach really harping on those 2 interceptions. He cannot afford to turn the football over, especially with a defense that's been struggling.
Well, that puts a lot of pressure on you. I mean, from an offensive standpoint, you know that you can't make many mistakes, and then you talk about giving them a short field as far as Tennessee. That's just something that they cannot do, and, you know, another thing is playing behind the sticks, and so you have to be able to win and be efficient on first down.
Averaging 300 yards per game. Connor Bazelak took over almost a year ago to the day. Sean Robinson was their quarterback, wasn't working out, so they put in Bazelak against Tennessee a year ago and hasn't relinquished the duty since then as Tyler Beatty gets the carry. And boy, we'll see a lot of number 1 today.
Tyler Beatty will touch the ball a lot for them. They will get him in space as well, and so he has to be able to perform well for them to be successful.
3-yard pickup on the first carry for Beatty. Had a 200-yard performance in his first game of the year, but has just accumulated right around 200 in 3 games since. Bazelak tripped up and dropped back around the 20-yard line. Jeremy Banks disrupts things for Missouri, and it's now a 3rd and long situation.
When you go and look at this, this is really a coverage sack. I mean, because Bazelak, he had time. He really tries to get to his 3rd read and just not able to find anyone down the field.
That'll push it back to 3rd and 14. Missouri on 3rd downs this year, 54%, 7th in the country. That one should have been picked off. Right through the hands of the true freshman Christian Charles, who's getting the start today as Trayvon Flowers is out with an injury, so they go with a true freshman, and he almost had a pick.
Should have had a pick, Dave. When you go back and look at this one, hits him square in the hands. It hits him in the chest, and so did a nice job of just being able to read the quarterback's eyes. And so back-to-back plays, you can see Bazelak not feeling comfortable, not seeing the field completely. Gets lucky that that one is not another turnover.
So a 3 and out for Missouri. They will punt it away. Grant McGinnis, a transfer from Kentucky, the graduate averaging 43 yards per punt. Velus Jones catches it and hit almost immediately, but great starting spot for Tennessee at the 40-yard line. And Tennessee's offense coming on the field, and it looks as though we're going to see Hendon Hooker getting the snaps. And for more on that, let's go down to Andrea Carter.
Yeah, Dave, I talked with head coach Josh Heupel on Hendon Hooker. He said he's been with the team all week. He's looked great. Physically, the staff has complete confidence in his ability to move and execute on the field. And he did add that mentally, Hendon was locked in all of their meetings and is good to go.
Yeah, said he had a good week of practice. He will throw it on first down. Out to midfield goes Cedric Tillman as he flips right at the midfield stripe for a gain of 7. On 2nd and 3. They will hand that one off to Jabari Small, and he'll pick up 4. And that'll be good enough to move the chains. Big hole off the left side. Again, Small with the carry. He'll fall right at the 40-yard line. And this Tennessee offense, they will get up and go. Now, one of the misnomers about this offense is they're slinging it all over the place. They're actually second in the conference in rushing attempts, only behind Arkansas. Here's Hooker. Looks pretty healthy there as he spins down to the 35, and that'll be good enough for another first down as he picks up 5 there. Devin Nicholson able to bring him down. Hooker over the middle, has a man, touchdown Tennessee, Devontae Payton. 35-yard strike from Hooker to Payton, and Tennessee on the board in a hurry.
Dave, a couple things when you go back and you look at that drive, you see the missed tackles. I mean, there were a couple times that there were opportunities for Missouri to at least bring some guys down on first contact, and this is just a skinny post, and, you know, Hooker does a nice job of just reading that coverage. The safety gets up too tight, and that's just an easy pitch and catch for he and Payton there for the score.
Chase McGrath to attempt the point after. A 60-yard drive to start things off. Tennessee looking sharp. Hendon Hooker with an excellent pass. There's Devontae Payton, the transfer from Mississippi, starting to get really comfortable with Josh Heupel, and Hendon Hooker had a touchdown catch last week, had another one today. Devontae Payton, who grew up a huge fan of Tennessee, finally gets to wear the colors of the Big Orange. 75-yard touchdown reception last week. His 3rd straight game with a touchdown reception, 35 yards on that, what was a beautiful throw from Hendon Hooker. And 5 plays, 57 yards, and it took just a touch over a minute. That's how quickly they moved down the field. Missouri was 3 and out on their first possession. We'll have a second opportunity coming up right here. That one will head into the end zone out to the 25-yard line. Today's keys to victory are brought to you by Barbecue Guys. Deuce, obviously we saw some of what you thought about this game come to fruition on that opening drive.
Yeah, when you talk about Tennessee, keep that tempo on max, and that's what they do. They like to play fast. The key for them from an offensive standpoint is not getting behind the chains, having success on first down. We know Coach Heupel is going to stay aggressive. You saw that with the touchdown throw. Missouri, they have to be able to stop the run. Probably 6 or 7 missed tackles on that first drive, and they didn't handle the package as far as pressure early on that first drive as well offensively.
Had a sack that lost 7 yards. Pressure again. Bazelak had hardly any time to look upfield. Got it away just in time. Danico Slaughter came in there to put the pressure on Bazelak.
And that's pressure off of the edge, and you talk about the slide as far as the offensive line going in a different direction. And one of the reasons I think it's not intentional grounding is because he did get outside the pocket and the ball did get back to the line of scrimmage.
Bazelak, the sophomore out of Dayton, Ohio, the redshirt sophomore. A little end around. Looper turning the corner. And he'll pick up a couple of yards, give him 2. So it'll be 3rd down and 8 coming up.
Missouri just tries to use the aggressive approach defensively Tennessee has against them with some misdirection types of action and plays there, and do a pretty good job of picking up some type of yardage, put it almost, not 3rd and long completely.
You see the Tennessee defense are going out without Juwan Mitchell at linebacker, so Solon Page and Jeremy Banks going to get most of the work today. Pass is caught on the outside. That'll be a 1st down. Dominic Lovett. Warren Burrell in on coverage, making the stop, but a 1st down for the Tigers.
Lovett does a nice job of just being able to run this hitch route. He and Bazelak on the same page. They do pick up the 1st down, the first down of the game as well.
And they pick up 11 yards. 4-man look now for Tennessee. They'll inch up to the line of scrimmage. 5-man look coming near side. Beatty nowhere to run. Tennessee snuffed that out in a hurry. Nico Slaughter again coming up to make a play.
And that play really was made because of the lack of blocking there. Daniel Parker, he is the tight end. He's got to seal that edge, and he just allows Slaughter to be able to just get right away in the backfield. And now you're talking about playing behind the chains.
Coach Drinkwitz, his offense averaging almost 40 points a game. 483 yards of offense. That's 20th in the country. And again, I mean, the offense hasn't really been the issue all year. Beatty left side. We'll pick up a couple of more, make it a 3rd down. Give him 3, so it'll be 3rd down and about 4.
The aggressive nature of Tennessee's defense, this screams pressure situation. So if you're Missouri, you have to be ready for that pressure situation, and you may look for them to run some type of screen as well.
Change my 3rd down and 14, not 4. They would love a 3rd and 4. Little slip screen. That one goes to Looper again. Looper to midfield. There's a flag down. He'll be knocked out of bounds around the 30-yard line.
I think they're going to get Missouri for holding here. It's going to be right at where the 1st down would have been. Your receiver on the outside, he's got to do a better job of letting that defensive back go.
Holding, number 6 on the offense. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Replay 3rd down.
They're going to get Kiki Chisholm right there on the edge of just holding, and he can let him go. It's the last little tug, the last little pull. And so you talk about that pressure package that you knew Tennessee was going to use, and it was a slip screen that had done enough to pick up the 1st down, but because of the penalty, it's called back.
That's almost a 30-yard penalty from where he was pushed out of bounds. So now it's 3rd down and 9. Three-man rush, drop at 8. Find a little seam in that defense, and the Tigers will have the 1st down. Toski Dove making the catch. 15-yard pickup.
Nice throw by Bazelak. Nice throw by Bazelak to be able to sit in the pocket and find that soft spot to Dove for the 1st down.
11th catch of the year for Toski. Had a career-high 40-yard reception last week against Boston College. Beatty trying to stretch it around that left side of the offensive line. Got it back to the line of scrimmage, maybe a yard. Jalen McCullough comes up to make a play. Boy, Beatty has been a huge part of this offense. Young man out of New Orleans, Louisiana, but he did go to high school in Memphis at Briarcrest High School. They put out some talent now. Beatty bounces it outside. Another flag comes in, and another big run will be nullified.
Another receiver downfield blocking for you, and it's going to come back because of holding on the edge as well.
Holding, number 76 on the offense. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Replay, second down.
So they actually get the left tackle for the hold, Javon Foster. And that's one where you talk about picking up another first down, and you just got to let him go, particularly when you get up in that second level. That's a tough call, too.
Second down and 17 Tigers.
Boy, now it's second down and 17. Bazelak going up top, and pass is caught down around the 24-yard line. Boo Smith. Boy, what an awesome throw by Connor Bazelak.
Awesome throw, awesome catch, corner route. Boo Smith brings it in.
32-yard pickup, quickly to the line. Beatty nowhere to run. Another flag will come in. Will this be the third hold on this drive?
They're going to get one of those offensive linemen again. Question is, do you back them all the way up for 10? It was behind the line of scrimmage where the hold occurred.
Holding, number 50 on the offense. 10-yard penalty. Replay, first down.
Iron White.
David, you go back and you see Bazelak to be able to just place this ball only where Boo Smith can catch it, and he's able to get 2 feet down inbounds on that corner route.
First down and 20 Mizzou.
Looper goes in motion. He sets up in that slot on the far side. Bazelak underthrows his tight end, Daniel Parker. And while we're speaking of tight ends, also of note, and it's a big note, Nico Hay not going to play today. The junior tight end, 8 catches and a touchdown this year. A really big part of this offense, and a good combination with Bazelak not available.
And you see Daniel Parker having, really, I don't necessarily call that a mistake. He's got to be ready for the football. I mean, because once you release that defensive end, you got to know that the quarterback is going to be hurried. And so Bazelak has to be able to set his feet and be able to get that football to him. But earlier on the run play had the penetration.
Second down and 20. Some pressure comes. Bazelak throws it out of bounds over the receiver's head. They're going to say uncatchable, even if there was a little bit of contact. Dominic Lovett, the intended receiver.
That's one where you see the quarterback kind of feels that pressure off of the edge, and only thing that you're going to ask, if you're the head coach, offensive coordinator, is to be able to give him a chance, give him a shot at making a play.
Bazelak has completed almost 69% of his passes this year. 1,200 yards, 10 touchdowns. Hand it off here. Beatty trying to take it down to the 25-yard line. Gain of 7, and that'll bring out the field goal kicking unit. And they've got a good one. Harrison Mevis strutting onto the field last week. Almost a hero. His team couldn't close it out, but he sent it to overtime with a 56-yarder. As Coach Drinkwitz said, it would have been clearly good from 57.
43 yards.
This will be from 43 yards out. He has made 13 straight out of the hold of Grant McInnes. And he does his job and pushes his streak to 14. And who knows what that could have been. Missouri with 3 holding penalties on that drive, but they'll take the 3 points on the scoreboard.
SEC Network Football is presented by Allstate. Save money like a champion with Allstate.
Good day to hang out on the rocks in the end zone. Watch a little Missouri-Tennessee SEC football. 7-3 our score here in the first quarter. Dave Neal, Deuce McAllister, Andrea Carter down on the sidelines. There is Josh Heupel, who, of course, as the offensive coordinator here at Missouri in his 2 years, 16 and 17, was just fantastic. He took over a team that was averaging right about 13 points a game when he took over. In 16, they averaged 31 points. In 17, they led the SEC, averaging almost 38 points a game. That's quite the turnaround.
That's getting it done.
Yes. This kick will sail into the end zone, so Tennessee will have it. Missouri's defense back on the field. For more on that defensive front, let's go down to Dre.
Yeah, Dave, during that offensive drive, defensive line coach Jethro Franklin was imploring his unit to snap their eyes to the sidelines. He said if you're on the ground, you can't get up looking around. Snap your eyes, get the call, and get in position faster.
Yeah, they went really fast on that first drive. 5 plays, 57 yards, minute 6 for Tennessee's scoring strike. And Missouri's defense just, I mean, the bottom line is they just have to be better. However you get there, just be better. You see how fast this Tennessee team likes to play. Hooker will throw again on first down. Pass is caught. Nice turn by Velus Jones. And he'll have a first down, give him a gain of 13 and a half. Big hole for Jabari Small, and that'll be a first down. A gain of 12. And there are just some massive holes in that defensive front.
And right now, Tennessee is taking advantage of it as well, Dave.
Hooker going up top again, and this one just a little too far out there for Cedric Tillman.
Stop and go. The corner was beat, and so that's why it was a little bit too far. It was a stop and go, and the corner was beat, and he was able to tug on him just a little bit to pull him, and that's why they're not able to make that completion. He had him beat, and it was just a little bit of tug there.
That may have been the difference of him catching that football or not. Hooker, quick slant, and there's a flag. Trying to hit Ramel Keaton. Like Evans might have just been tugging on him a little too early.
Pass interference on the defense, number 26. The ball will be placed at the spot of the foul. Automatic first down.
And that's back-to-back plays. Evans, you know, the first time it was a stop and go. This time they catch him with a slant, and he's got to just be more confident. You've seen Missouri go with a 3-down look as far as defense is concerned, and you've got to have confidence in your secondary that they can make a tackle in space.
First down, Tennessee.
Hooker breaks a couple of tackles and then slides down at the 36-yard line. A 6-yard pickup. Artez Manuel get credit for the tackle. Hooker looks healthy. He looks fine, doesn't he?
He looks fine as far as running and not a lot of pressure. He's in rhythm as well.
Boy, nice stutter step for Small. Breaks a tackle. He's to the 15. Dropped around the 13-yard line by Sean Robinson. And another big gain for this Tennessee run attack.
And Small, he's not touched until he's 15 yards down the field before the first person is even touching him. And so we talked about the lanes and the run defense that has to be better for Missouri, and so far they're not doing it.
Tyon Evans now in at running back, the 220-pounder. They'll give it to Evans. He's inside the 10, down to the 8. Blaze Aldridge, who leads this team in tackles, picks up that stop, but a 6-yard gain. Near side, that's just too easy. Tyon Evans from 8 yards away.
Dave, it was the same play. It was the same play as far as this time. What Evans does is he's able to bounce it outside. The first time he hit the A-gap, but this time that whole side is collapsed and there is no one out there for support. The receiver does a great job of being able to run the corner off or the safety off, and there's no one out there for support.
Chase McGrath to attempt the point after, and He converts it. 2 impressive drives by Tennessee to start this game. This one was 7 plays, 75 yards. Boy, Deuce, this has been an impressive start for the Volunteers.
I don't think you can draw it up any better if you're the Volunteers, because you're getting exactly what you want offensively.
Untouched to make it a 14-3 game. (14-3), Tennessee out in front. They have put together 124 yards of offense in their 2 drives that have both resulted in touchdowns. That last one, they were going slow, only a minute 52. The first one was like, what, a minute 7 or minute 6? Evans with that 8-yard touchdown run. That will sail through the end zone. Time to get our first update of the day. PB, tell me, what is going on?
What's up, Dave, Neal, Indeed. Peter Burns here for a studio update. JT Daniels battling a lat injury, not getting the start. That's all right. They got the mailman, Stetson Bennett, 2 for 3 in his first drive. And then Zamir White punches it in from 3 yards out. 7-0. Georgia over the Hogs.
Maybe Peter's got some defensive line ability. Maybe he'd come to Como.
Got to put his hand in the dirt.
That's it. No, I know, but he ain't putting his hand in the dirt. No chance. Here's Back. We'll try to set up a little screen to slow down that pass rush, and it's a good call. Beatty breaks a tackle out over the 40. Nice play called by Coach Drinkwitz. 18-yard pickup, and he now has gone over 1,000 yards receiving.
1,000 is rushing as well, and you look at what he's able to do and just taking advantage of some tendencies from that aggressive Tennessee defense, and they set up another screenplay.
Yeah, over 2,000 yards rushing, 1,000 yards receiving. Came in with 20 catches on the year. That's how vital he is to this offense. And I think Tennessee knows it. And they sent 3 guys right for number 1 and hammer him for a loss of 4.
You figure at some point that they would call off, the pressure looks, but they do bring pressure back-to-back opportunities. And Caleb Tremblay is able to make that tackle as well as with Thomas in the backfield just off of, they're running that counter play that they had a somewhat success outside of the holding plays again, and they come up with negative yardage.
Second down. Let's call it 13. Dump it off to Beatty. He'll get it out to the 45. A gain of 5 on the play for the senior out of New Orleans. And you see where he ranks. I mean, that is a really good group to be mentioned with right there.
And you look at some of the talent on that list, and to be able to add his name to that list, I think that bodes pretty well for you. Now, he's a young man, and I do think that he has aspiration playing at that next level, and he's got the talent, in my opinion.
Third down and 9 coming up. Bazelak well off the mark, trying to hit J.J. Hester. And now it's 4th down. Boy, Bazelak doesn't miss him by that much.
Doesn't miss him by that much, and that was a dig route, and it looked like, just he's looking for that receiver to continue to climb and come across the pocket. And one of the things you look, I don't know if he had set his feet, but his receiver really had sat down in the zone, and he wanted him to keep running.
So Grant McInnes will punt it away again. End over end punt. That will hit inside the 15, take a Missouri roll, and bounce out of bounds around the 7-yard line. So a long field coming up for Tennessee after that 48-yard punt. But Hendon Hooker, 3 of 4, 56 yards and a touchdown. Tennessee has already rushed the ball for 68 yards. Well, the 2 quarterbacks that kind of got things going. Joe Milton started the first couple of games. A redshirt junior, Michigan transfer. Had 5 starts in Ann Arbor. Hendon Hooker, the redshirt senior, Virginia Tech grad transfer, 15 starts with the Hokies. These 2 guys have certainly proven their worth in their college careers. Joe Milton, though, got hurt in game 2. That opened the door for Hooker to come in. And it's hard to take a guy out who's been playing this well. Big run. Tyon Evans in the open field. It is a track meet. He's to the 20, to the 10. Touchdown, Tennessee. 92 yards.
Tyon Evans.
Three possessions, 3 touchdowns, making it look easy. That one is one play. That time Missouri does bring pressure off of the edge, and no one is there to fill that gap.
Trent to attempt the extra point.
Nice job of just executing by the Tennessee Vols. And that's a house call.
Wow. 92 yards.
3 minutes and 13 seconds.
Tennessee has now put up 160 yards rushing with 3:13 to go here in the first quarter.
There's pressure off of the edge, and all he does is hit it. I mean, the question was he going to allow the defense, Ensign Rakestraw, to be able to catch him? And he's just, you can see he's just striding out, and that's just way too easy. If you're the Missouri defense, you have to be able to figure out, hey, look, how can we beat blocks? How can we get guys to be able to win some of those one-on-one matchups? And then you talk about having a fit as far as a safety when you have to come down and make a play. You know, right now they're just not doing it. It's way too easy for this Tennessee offense.
21-3 is our score here. Let's get another update. PB, maybe you can play some D-line. Were you willing to put your hand in the dirt?
Come on, Dave Neal. Normally, at least I have the golf gloves to keep my hands good from dirty. How about this? First drive for Georgia, 9 plays, rushing touchdown. Second drive, 9 plays, rushing touchdown. This time, Kendall Milton. Back to Missouri's defense. Looking like Ole Miss's defense last year's, guys.
Yes. Unfortunately, that is not the comparison you want, but you're exactly right. It is. They got to clean that up.
Well, and if you're looking like that, then it's not very good. I mean, you put a lot of stress on your offense, and that's exactly the situation they're in. You know, Connor Bazelak, those guys feel like that every time that they have to go out, they've got to score. And, you know, so far you've had to punt a couple of times, and every time that Tennessee has touched the football so far in this game, they've come away with touchdowns.
That is Dane Davis, redshirt sophomore, being attended to after that point after at a Bluff City, Tennessee.
If you're Tennessee, that's not something that you want to see. They are already banged up, you know, tremendously on the offensive line. And so Dane Davis, a backup right tackle. And so a lot of shuffling already before this game. And hopefully that is not anything significant for him.
Yeah, Cooper Mays, their starting center, not playing today. Jerome Carbon moves over from guard to center. Ollie Lane moves up to that left guard spot. And I mean, and the numbers offensively on the offensive line for Tennessee are staggeringly low. I mean, this is a team that just has 71 scholarship players. I mean, it's crazy.
Well, you look at the attrition that they suffered this past offseason, and, you know, just trying to find that right fit as Coach Josh Heupel comes in and he tries to put his mark and change the culture of this Tennessee football team. And, you know, right now dealing with some of those transfers and just injuries have decimated that group overall.
Oh, he cannot be unhappy with the way his offense has started today. 3 possessions, 3 touchdowns. They've run the ball 5 times on first down today. And of course, 92 yards in that last one, but they're averaging 24 yards per carry on first down. Out to the 25-yard line. Abrams Drain on the return.
13-yard return. Flag on the play.
There is a flag down. David Smith, our referee.
During the return, holding number 24 on the receiving team. 10-yard penalty, first down.
That is Missouri's 4th holding penalty today. Hey, let's take a look at the smoothest play brought to you by Velveeta. it should be plays because their run game has been as smooth as Velveeta. And this one right here, 92 yards. Deuce, when you get a hole like that, like you get to midfield, right? Are you thinking, is somebody going to catch me? Can I make it? What's going through your mind?
That's exactly what you're thinking. You know, I don't want to get caught. I can't get caught. You know, you have to go and score. And so you may even watch that board up there, the big board, to be able to see,
right.
yeah, to see if how close somebody is. And, you know, I think it was a swipe right there at about the 10-yard line. And obviously they were not able to stop him. But, I mean, your teammates would rag and talk about you so bad if you got caught. I mean, because there's nothing but green grass in front of you.
A junior college transfer. This run game for Tennessee has really, I don't want to say been a surprise because they kind of saw it coming in preseason practice, but they have been very, very solid through the first 4+ games. Boy, nowhere to go for Beatty. That defensive front, led by Byron Young that time, forces a 5-yard loss.
I don't know if you're Coach Eli Drinkwitz, you have to be discouraged because right now you're not winning up front. And it's not just because they're bringing pressure, but I mean, you're turning guys loose right there at the line of scrimmage at the point of attack, and so there's nowhere for Beatty to go.
Coach Drinkwitz in his second year at Missouri, third year overall as a head coach, 19-8. His total tally as a head coach. Bazelak from the end zone. Pass is caught, missed tackle there, out around the 13-yard line goes Messiah Swinson. Pickup of 8. An injured Tennessee player around the 15-yard line.
Dave, you talked about how thin they are at certain positions, and at the linebacker position, that's another place where they don't want to have somebody go down, and I think that is Beasley that is walking off the field.
There was really a 3-person rotation. Page, Banks, and Beasley today without Juwan Mitchell. William Mohan also will get some snaps today. But that's really about it for the linebacking core for Tennessee. Incomplete, out of bounds goes Barrett Bannister.
That is very close on the sideline. It looked like he was able to get 1 foot. Yeah, he looked like he was able to get one foot in, but it depends. Was he already out of bounds?
The previous
like
play
a
is under further review. The ruling on the field was an incomplete pass.
They're going to take another look at that. Bannister thought he got it.
Yeah,
of course he did, but
exactly. But I mean, it looked like he was able to get. Looked like that right foot was able to hit before he brought that left foot down. And they, I mean, in this situation, if you're, yeah, that's a catch. That's a catch. It looks like that's a catch. I mean, it's a nice job of dragging the toe regardless. And so we'll see how close he was to that white line. But it looked like that he was able to toe touch it right there on the sideline. And I mean, look, Missouri needs to possess the ball as long as they can. I mean, because they're, from a defensive standpoint, they have to get together and make sure that they're talking and they figure out a way to stop that Tennessee offense. And then when you look at Missouri, it's really been the penalties that have kind of held them back. And so anytime that they've gotten something going, it's been penalties. And so you look at the placement of this football by Connor Bazelak, and I mean, he throws it where only his guy has a chance at it. And unless he was just bobbling that football, that would be the only reason I think that's not a catch.
You know, to me, everything I'm looking at tells me that he had possession through the catch, right? As he hits the ground, he still has possession. I mean, he has clear possession, and it looks as though that right foot got in. Well, we'll get the call here in a matter of moments.
After further review, the receiver did maintain possession and got a foot down inbounds. Ball will be placed at the 21-yard line. First down, Missouri.
Well, Bannister's reaction made me believe that he was a catch. A lot of guys would get up and, you know, kind of go through the motions, but he seemed pretty intent that that was a catch.
Well, the only question was, I mean, did he bobble it? He had complete control. We saw he was able to get that right foot down and toe tap right there on the line. So nice conversion on third down.
Georgia's up 21-0 on Arkansas in the first quarter. Just blocked a punt for a touchdown. Man. Out of the pistol, Bazelak fakes it, throws, intercepted. Picked off at the 33-yard line by Jeremy Banks. Banks looking like a running back. Cuts it back to the 5. To the 3. Does he get it? No, they're going to be just shy. Spot him just outside the goal line. Jeremy Banks.
Dave, we've talked about Tennessee, that defense being able to bring pressure. They do it again. This time it's Solomon Page that's right up the gap, and he is sitting in the quarterback's lap, and then Missouri is just late picking this pressure up, and they see it. They've got to bump that off the offensive lineman, and that ball is just thrown. It's too short by Connor Bazelak and Banks. They just it's pressure. Banks comes up with the interception, and he comes close to scoring there.
Solon Page hitting Bazelak right as he throws it, and a nice grab by Banks.
Missouri's offense has just been flushed, whether they're self-inflicted wounds or just not being able to get anything consistently going.
Last 2 games, well, 2+ games now. Tennessee +5 in the turnover margin. They have 5 interceptions. Handoff to Tyon Evans, and he will power his way the short distance to pay dirt. And this one, folks, getting out of hand here in the first quarter.
Jacob Warren does a nice job of blocking here, and so you talk about back-to-back touches for your tailback being able to go in and score. Evans, I mean, one on a 92-yard run and now on a short run. And if you're Missouri defensively, you know, you talk about defensive coordinator Steve Wilks, you want to see some effort. You want to see some effort out of those guys, and I don't know how much effort they're getting right now. Tennessee is going to have to burn a timeout. I think they're short of linemen. Remember, they had Dane Davis that got hurt.
Yeah.
So they do reset the play clock for him.
Their play clock has 15 seconds on it. They will get an extra body to come in. That's about the only thing that's gone wrong for Tennessee today was that mishap. And nothing really happened as they split the uprights with the point after from Chase McGrath. It is 28-3, 91 seconds to go in this first quarter. And Evans with his second touchdown of the day. Well, it's 28-3 here. Things are getting, looks like they might be getting out of hand in Athens. What's going on there, Peter?
Dave, you kind of stole my thunder earlier, but I'm going to show you. Zamir White has his second touchdown of the day, but it came after Dan Jackson gets his right hand on it. Will Muschamp, special teams coordinator, has to be happy with that. 21-0 right now. All Athens.
Arkansas is a step away from being at that level, maybe 2 steps away. But I didn't think it'd be 21-0 at the end of the first quarter. I didn't think this would be 28-3 in the first quarter.
In the first quarter, and I think when, you know, particularly our game, it's the little things that have hurt these teams, Missouri.
Well, here's how the rankings looked in week 1. Alabama sitting there at number 1. They've stayed the same, but things have changed quite a bit since then. Georgia's moved up to number 2. Texas A&M has fallen to 15th. They were as high as 6th, and of course Alabama waits for them next week. Florida has slipped a spot or 2. I still think Florida's a pretty good football team. I think they're going to be a factor before this is over. That Georgia-Florida game is going to be impressive. And Ole Miss sitting there. Well, Arkansas jumped all the way up after being unranked to 8th. Of course, Alabama and Ole Miss going at it. I know Chris Doering all week has been saying that this Ole Miss team, he is all in on Ole Miss pulling the upset tonight.
It's going to be tough. It's going to be very, very tough.
Of course, Mississippi State and Texas A&M coming up at 7 o'clock Eastern time. Texas A&M, they have their offense. They're averaging less than 400 yards of offense. They're like 70th, 71st in the country in total offense. That's somewhat surprising to me.
Losing your starting quarterback. I mean, when that happened, they just haven't had anybody to be able to step up and be consistent for him at quarterback.
Josh Heupel, a former quarterback at Oklahoma, loves his offense, and they have done quite the job in the first quarter this year. 73-13, they've outscored opponents in the first 15 minutes.
First and 10 Tigers from the 25.
Coming up at 3:30 Eastern Time, Troy visiting South Carolina. You can catch that right here on the SEC Network. And South Carolina needs to get their running back Kevin Harris going. Only had 5 100-yard games last year. He has just 102 yards in 3 games this year. And then we talked about that Mississippi State Texas A&M game. A&M averaging 396 yards of offense, but their defense has been stellar. Less than 10 points per game allowed. That's second best in the country. So Mississippi State, Texas A&M, our nightcap, SEC Saturday night from College Station. Eli Drinkwitz would like some of that defense to find its way to Columbia right now. Still a run game number, -4 yards rushing for Missouri. Beatty picks up 2 there. This is a rush offense that came in averaging about 160 a game. 9th in the SEC. So Deuce, if you're a coordinator in this situation, right? I mean, it's 28-3. Do you throw out game plans now? And what's your approach?
How you eat an elephant, one bite at a time. That's what they have to be able to use it. I mean, it's just that got to be one play at a time for them.
They'll go Beatty again, but no room off that left side. He might even lose a yard. Danico Slaughter, Aaron Beasley combined on that stop.
I think also from an approach of looking at it, particularly when you have opportunities to make it four downs as far as going for it, sometimes, you know, just being conservative. I mean, because right now your defense hadn't shown you that they can stop anybody. From an offensive standpoint, you knew that there was going to be a lot of stress and pressure on you, but I mean, not to the point where it's 28-3 in the first quarter.
Bazelak, 8 of 14, 110 yards and an interception. That pass is caught out over the 40-yard line. Daniel Parker, that'll be a first down.
They fake the jailbreak screen, and then they're able to hit a vertical pass off of it, but there's still pressure in the face of the quarterback.
Beatty, cross midfield, still on his feet. Another first down. Good run by Tyler Beatty. Gain of 14, and that'll be the final play of the first quarter. Tennessee ran 14 offensive plays in the first quarter. They averaged 2 points per play. Time to take a look at today's All-State celebration moment, and it was a good one. Just keep an eye on number 78 here in the back of the screen. Ollie Lane, who got the start at guard today on the 92-yard touchdown run. He knew it. Look at him. And then he's like, I got to go get involved in this. Look at it. And then he realizes there's no chance I'm going to get there, so I'm just going to shut this thing down.
Great form for about 7 yards.
Yeah, it was. Bazelak underneath as we start the second quarter. That pass is caught there by Dominic Lovett, the freshman receiver.
Like how Connor Bazelak was able to keep his eyes down the field, didn't like anything deep, chose the crossing route to pick up a couple yards here.
Lovett, freshman out of East St. Louis. Beatty inside the 35. He'll get tripped up around the 34-yard line by Aaron Beasley. Gain of 4, so third down and short here. Beatty hit, and I don't know if he got it. Looks like they're going to spot that right back at the line of scrimmage. And it's going to be fourth down.
Well, and if I'm Missouri, I'm going for it. There's not even a question. But you saw that the safety walked down into the box, and if you're the tailback, that's your guy. That was Theo Jackson that came up and made the initial hit. When you're the tailback in that certain situation, that's your guy that you have to either take on one-on-one or you have to beat, just because you decided to bounce that play.
Theo Jackson has 5 tackles already for the Tennessee Volunteers. A real leader of that defense, a senior out of Nashville, Tennessee. A 4th down and a yard coming up. They'll have the 1st down around the 30-yard line. Just straight power. Matthew Butler hanging on to bring him down, but needed a half yard, got 2.
And if you're Missouri, I mean, that's no surprise that you go for it in that situation. It's short yardage. You're down big early in this game. And so just to keep your defense off the field and keep the football, nice job running the inside zone play.
So that'll bring up a 1st down. Empty set. They'll come near side. Love it. Quick hitter out near the 1st down line. That'll be 20-yard line and gain of 9.5. See what they do with the chains. Yeah, going to be just shy. 2nd and short.
Expecting pressure, running a little quick screen again. Slip screen to the receiver.
They gave him the 1st down. Beatty again. Stutter steps. He's inside the 15 down to the 13. Jalen McCullough making the tackle, but not before Beatty picks up 7 more.
Nice job by Beatty being able to stutter right there in the hole and just freeze the defense just a little bit to let that play develop and let those offensive linemen wash it by.
Beatty 12 carries, 21 yards. Tennessee had 5 tackles for loss in that 1st quarter. No loss here as Beatty tried to turn the corner out of bounds at the 6-yard line. It'll be 1st and goal for Missouri after a 7-yard pickup.
Nice job on the left side of that offensive line, just being able to seal the edge. And like you said, Beatty was able to get to the edge and he almost scored there. Nice drive so far for Missouri. Nice run by Beatty.
Injured Tennessee Vol being attended to. We'll update it when we come back. Tyler Beatty trying to turn the corner to the end zone and says hello.
Coming straight to you in your living room.
Just short though. They'll spot the ball at the 6-yard line. This has been the Tyler Beatty drive. It'll be 1st and goal.
You know, in 1st down, Tennessee likes to bring pressure with either that safety coming off the edge.
Beatty to the left side. Touchdown, Missouri.
Dave, I think you're going to have a penalty here on Daniel Parker at the end of that play. It still should be a touchdown, but I think he had a little extra. He was able to drive his, he got it. He was blocking all the way onto the sideline, almost to the track there at the end, but he gave him an extra little talking to on that pancake block. So this should be after the touchdown as far as the penalty.
Parker wears 82.
He messed up with Theo Jackson there, and he drove him all the way almost to the track.
The result of the play is a touchdown. After the play was over, unsportsmanlike conduct, number 82 on the offense. That 15-yard penalty will be administered on the kickoff. That is number 82's first unsportsmanlike conduct foul.
Boy, 4 holding penalties now with unsportsmanlike conduct. It has not been smooth sailing here for Missouri to start this game. There is 11:38 to go in the 2nd quarter. Harrison Mevis with the point after. He is now 21 out of 21 in point afters this year. Tyler Beatty did most of the work and was the recipient of the touchdown run from 6 yards away to make it a 28-10 game. We'll see what that does for Missouri. Give them a little juice. I know it's an early game, and usually the home team in these early games a little sluggish out of the gates. But playing this kind of catch up early, got to do something for your psyche.
Well, it definitely does something for your psyche, and then you're beating yourself. You know, it's been Tennessee that is the one that has struggled with penalties earlier this year. You know, having 10+ penalties in two different games, but it's Missouri that's putting himself behind the chains so far. You talked about that 15-yarder that will give Tennessee great field position. It seems like when they've been backed up, though, it doesn't matter. You had the 92-yard runner, and I think they had one at around the 20 or so, and they were able to take it down there and score. So. Not helping yourself from a defensive standpoint with that penalty.
Let's go down to the sidelines, visit with Andrea.
Guys, we see what Tyler Beatty can do, and he is actually best friends with running back from Tennessee, Jabari Small. I asked Jabari about their time together in high school, and he said, I was in Tyler's back pocket every day. He taught me how to develop a work ethic. And I talked to their high school head coach, Brian Stewart, and he confirmed that statement. He said they have a phenomenal relationship, and Tyler Beatty was the guy that would always run 30 to 40 yards after every whistle, worked a ridiculous amount in the weight room, and set a great example for Jabari.
That is a great story. You know, Briarcrest High School in Memphis, super talented school. Actually, Hugh Freeze cut his teeth coaching football at Briarcrest in Memphis. There is Jones, stopped around the 25. They'll put him out to the 27-yard line. So the story here is Missouri's defense has got to find a way to make some plays. However that happens.
I agree with you, Dave. And, you know, you talk about that defensive front being able to get some type of pressure. You know, they really only play 3 down linemen. But, you know, from a linebacker standpoint, they're not getting anything off the edge. And guys are, you know, even when they do blitz, they're missing the hole, or it's just a missed assignment. And it's costing them greatly so far. Looks like Jabari Small also dealing with some type of shoulder injury.
First and 10 for Tennessee on the 27.
Another big hole off the left side. This one goes to Evans. That's a first down carry. Deuce, the first down carries by opponents this year. Missouri's allowing over 7 yards per carry on first downs this year. Wide open on the far side is Cedric Tillman, who has the catch around the 34-yard line. Rakestraw bumps him out of bounds. But 2 huge plays to start this drive. That one went 28 yards.
Well, and Rakestraw comes off another guy. They were setting up a screen, and it was a pump fake, and, you know, you had 2 guys to bite it. First down.
Wrapped up there, Jones.
Really good throw by Hooker here to be able to place this where only his guy can catch it. Just read the defense. 2 guys come up and makes that perfect throw.
Hooker hit and falls forward. Only a 2-yard loss. Missouri will take it however they can get it. Martez Manuel will get credit for that sack.
Well, and that's bringing pressure off of the edge, and you're finally able to get something going. Manuel comes up with the sack there. Back-to-back negative plays.
Had 11 tackles last week to lead the team. Did Manuel. Third down. Low throw scooped up off the turf by Jones. Breaks free. Jones to the 10. Touchdown Tennessee. 35 yards on a 3rd down and 12.
You talk about 3rd down and 12, Dave, but that was at least two missed tackles on that screen. And, you know, it looked like at least Missouri would at least tackle him short of the first down, but they missed 2 more tackles here on this play. And I mean, it's just a quick screen, and they do a good job of running down the line of scrimmage, but you got to tackle.
It was their first 3rd down attempt of the game, and they convert for 35 yards and a touchdown.
The kick is good. 10 minutes and 1 second remaining in the second
I mean,
quarter.
35 points, 10:01 to go in the second quarter. Tennessee just rolling here in Columbia. Josh Heupel, when he was here as an offensive coordinator, his last year was 2017. His club was averaging about 38 points per game, the highest total in the SEC. And they're put up 35, and we still have 10 minutes to go in the second quarter. Dave Neal, Deuce McAllister. And Deuce, try to break this down. What in the world's going on? I mean, this is shocking.
We talked about some of the things that Missouri couldn't do defensively, and it's showing up. You know, you couldn't miss tackles. You had to have a assignment and alignment correct, and, you know, anything that you could do, they're doing it wrong, and Tennessee is just taking advantage of it.
Yeah, 290 yards of offense already for Tennessee, 19 plays, 35 points. Crazy. If whatever sting there was from that Florida defeat last weekend, it is gone. They are feeling pretty well, I would say, today.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you there, and they have it rolling so far early here in this game.
Abrams drained with a fair catch, so out to the 25-yard line. Nice drive last time out for Missouri's offense, led by Tyler Beatty. And now, you know, as you said, you got to score every time you have the football now. And almost the way this defense is playing, it seems like the rest of the year they're going to have to score every time they touch the football.
Yeah, I agree with you. And also, you know, if you're Coach Wilkes, you probably want to go ahead and start playing some of those young guys and just see what they have. I mean, because some of the guys that you're playing right now, they're not producing for you. And this isn't just this game. This has been like this for a couple of games.
From the 25, near hash mark. Beatty's trying to stretch it near side, nowhere to go.
Tyler Beatty.
That'll be a loss, another tackle behind the line. Roman Harrison getting credit for that. Don't forget, coming up 3:30 Eastern, Troy and South Carolina from Williams-Brice. Mississippi State, Texas A&M, 7 o'clock Eastern time, SEC Saturday night game. That should be a lot of fun in College Station. Four-man rush. Bazelak throws and drops. Kiki Chisholm. Kiki's been having a nice season. 17 catches, touchdown this year. The transfer from Angelo State.
Chisholm has to look that ball in and run a slant to him, and he just has to look it in. Not a lot of pressure as far as man-to-man coverage. They're actually in zone, and he just dropped it.
Going with a three-man rush. Bazelak forced out of that pocket, throws back over the middle. Pass is caught. That'll be a first down. Messiah Swinson with a nice catch, a gain of 11.
Nice job of just moving in the pocket by Bazelak, and Swinson does a nice job of just being able to move in that zone, that drop 8 coverage, and he does a nice job here. Your tight end coming up with the catch.
Young in at running back. The sophomore from Knoxville, Tennessee. We'll get the carry here. Driving out to the 39-yard line. Jalen McCullough, the first one there. Gain of 3.
Correction. Young, the long career for the Tigers.
Former Class 5A Tennessee Mr. Football, Tennessee Gatorade Player of the Year. Ran for over 2,000 yards and 43 touchdowns as a senior. You know, he was looking forward to this game, but it is. I mean, I'm just trying to. There's hardly any noise in here. I don't know that I've been to an SEC game that heard it
Very
this
quiet.
quiet.
Yeah, very, very quiet. And you see back-to-back passes. That one's probably a little bit high. Back-to-back passes that your receivers get their hand on it. Love it. That time is the intended target and a little high, and he doesn't come down with it. You got pressure off of the edge. Tennessee has brought that safety and got him involved a couple of times in pressure off the edge and just can't convert.
3rd down and 7. Tennessee bringing some heat. Bazelak hit as he throws, lofts it up in the air, and that one almost picked off. A big collision. Tosky Dove ran right into Theo Jackson. Both players slow to get up. It looked like Theo got there first.
And there are no flags on the field. You know, you talk about defenseless receiver, and both, like you said, both of those guys are down, and You got Chisholm over there pleading to the ref that he was early, and that should have been kind of a helmet-to-helmet situation, but it was right there, bang, bang. Kind of caught him underneath the helmet as they both stretch out. Caught him right there on the side.
Well, we will step aside for a moment. Back to Columbia as Toski Dove gets up. Theo Jackson got up, left the field under his own power, so both he and Dove, hopefully those guys will be all right and get back in this game. It's 4th down for Missouri. Grant McInnes will punt it away. Back to return, Velus Jones. He stands at the 18. Calls for the fair catch around the 13-yard line, and that is where Tennessee's offense will take over. It's Saturday, time to represent your school. Show us how big you're going today. Submit your best fan video this weekend to #ShowYourSaturday, and you might just get your 15 seconds of fame. Good look at the end zone here at Memorial Stadium. Faurot Field on what has turned into a little drizzle coming down on this turf. Dave Neal, Deuce McAllister, Andrea Carter down the sidelines. Andrea fully prepared, brought her rain gear.
Pro's pro.
No doubt. That handoff goes to Laneith Whitehead. 6'2", 220-pound redshirt freshman out of Athens, Georgia. He picks up 3. We'll go with Whitehead again. Huge hole off the left side. Whitehead dropped down around midfield. Just chunk after chunk after chunk. 33 yards this time.
Darnell Wright does a good job of blocking here, and it's another 1st down.
Hooker looking to throw. Pass caught, Cedric Tillman. Tillman's a guy they're trying to get the football. Alex Golesh, their offensive coordinator, telling us last night, you know, they need to try to get him. His goal was to try to get him 10 touches today.
I don't know if he'll need to get him 10 touches, but they definitely want to get him involved.
Too good of a talent not to be a part of their game plan. Hooker keeps it. And he'll fall inside the 35 to the 33. Evan Nicholson along with Blaze Aldridge making the play. 4-yard gain.
Stop by number 25, Blaze Aldridge for the Tigers. 2nd and 6.
Hooker keeps it. Big hole. Stays on his feet. He's inside the 15 down to the 13-yard line.
Dave, you knew that you were going to have to handle that tempo, but I mean, one of the things that's been so surprising for me are just the missed tackles that Tennessee has been able to create.
19 yards on that gain. Tennessee up to 362 yards of offense, 229 on the ground. They will stay there. Whitehead breaks a tackle. He's inside the 10 to the 7. That's 8 missed tackles today for Missouri's defense.
And that's not good when a group is struggling that bad.
2nd down and 4.
Whitehead will get it down to the 4-yard line. They're just shy of the 1st down. Ooh, and he's stuffed there for a loss of a yard. So now it's 4th down at about 2.5. Tennessee wasting no time, bringing in some big boys.
And Coach Heupel, he's aggressive as you want to be, and you would think that, hey, maybe show a little mercy and maybe kick a field goal. No, sir.
This will be the 12th time this year that Tennessee has gone forward on 4th down. They've hit 6 of 11 to this point. 4th down and a couple. Tyon Evans in at running back. They will hand it to Evans. He has the 1st down. Does the pile take him into the end zone? Yes, it does. Touchdown, Evans.
Touchdown, Tennessee.
That is his 4th touchdown of the day for Tyon Evans. 4.
That's a pretty good day, Dave. When you talk about having 4 touchdowns in the first half as well, that offensive line, they just get movement. I mean, and he's probably stopped about the 2-yard line, but then you see the wave come through and just take him into the end zone.
He is just the 7th player in Tennessee history with a 4-touchdown day on the ground.
Keeps those legs driving, keeps moving. Big boys come behind and push you on into the end zone.
The previous play is under further review. The ruling on the field was a touchdown.
Well, they can't take it away. I've given all those stats. They can't now. It's official.
He's on the sideline being looked at a little bit as well. We told you Jabari Small had already was dinged up with the shoulder. I don't know if that right knee went down. It looked like it may have went down right before. It's kind of close. The ruling on the field is a touchdown, and so the question is, when he's driving, does that right knee touch or at least get close to touching the ground? I don't know if you're going to have an angle. I don't know if you're going to have an angle, Dave, that shows that it touched the ground. I think your comment and your stat about four touchdowns in a game is going to stand.
The way it's going, something tells me that even if they took it off, he might get that 4th today. David Smith, our referee.
Yeah, I just don't know there's enough video.
Right there, right as he hit the goal line, it looks like the knee was almost on the ground, but it hit like a Missouri player's leg to keep it from touching the turf.
Yeah, there's 2 different instances where it looks like it's very, very close, but I don't think it ever touches.
I don't know how you overturn it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, well, I mean, particularly after calling it a touchdown before, I don't know if there's enough video evidence in there to say that you can change it. And like you said,
here's my thing, Deuce, right now. Okay, we've taken a look at this for 5 minutes. If you can't tell by now,
you go with it.
Right. Go with the call on the field.
You go with it on the field.
Well, they had the first down. Even if he doesn't get in, it's the first down, and to be inches away. I mean, sometimes when they go this long, it's almost like they're trying to reset where they were, time and clock, and the ball, which...
And that tells you maybe it was not a touchdown. And as that offense comes out on the field, that's what I believe it is. Field goal team runs back off. So they are going to say that his knee was down. I think. I mean, because you're blocked the vision, you can't really tell because of carving. And then the only other question is on the lean, the body lean, his body and the football would have been in, but here's the definitive answer.
After further review, the runner's knee was down prior to crossing the goal line. The ball will be placed at the 1.5-yard line. First down.
Hey, maybe they saw something I didn't see.
Now tell me those stats again that you gave us.
I'll save them for just a second. So Tennessee's offense going to have to come back on the field. We'll see if they run Zion Evans back out there. Zion came in with 2 touchdowns rushing on the year, has 3 already. And Evans will re-enter the game. The ball will be spotted just inside the 2-yard line. High snap. Hooker keeps it himself, and he'll get into the end zone.
Hooker does a great job of just reading the crash as far as the defensive end off the edge, and then there was pressure. One guy that he has to beat, and you'll see it here, and he does a nice job of just being able to beat him and launch into the end zone for the touchdown. I think you're okay still saving those stats.
Yeah, just disappointing. I threw that out there and had to take it back. Chase McGrath to attempt the point after. And he will split the uprights. McGrath, a transfer from Southern Cal, caps off that drive 42-10. Hendon Hooker, his second rushing touchdown of the year.
Coming up on the Farm Ridge Halftime Report, Peter Burns, Gene Chizik, Chris Doran will show you how Arkansas struggling against Georgia. Will the same thing happen for Ole Miss against Alabama? Chiz, what about the body language you're seeing there in Como right
Definitely
now?
a loss of confidence. There's going to have to be some adjustments at halftime by Steve.
How about Josh Heupel, though? Can't say enough about his offense and how quickly that team has taken to it.
Little revenge game headed back to Como. We'll talk about it at half. See ya.
Thanks, guys. See you in a little bit. 4:49 on our game clock. And if you're Missouri, it's the first half that just won't end. I mean, the drives for Tennessee have been spectacular if you're a Tennessee fan. Not so if you're a Tiger fan. I mean, look at it. They're 6 for 6.
6 for 6 and all touchdown. We're not talking about having forced to maybe kick a field goal or attempt a field goal. You know, and you talk about just being able defensively. Can you stop the run? Can you get off the field? And they've shown they haven't been able to do so far.
376 yards of offense for Tennessee here in the first half. An offense that came in averaging 483 through 4 games. Missouri 1st and 10 from the 29. Bannister goes in motion, but they'll throw over the middle, and that one is dropped. Hit immediately was Keke Chisholm. Hit by McDonald on a clean play, and Chisholm slow to get up.
And that one, he's running that crosser, and McDonald comes down from his safety, Rob in the middle of the field, and he catches it clean. See Chisholm running that shallow cross, and he caught him right under the shoulder pads, right under the numbers. Clean tackle by Tamarion McDonald. I think he just knocked the wind out of him. He's up, able to walk off the field.
So 2nd down and 10 now. Bazelak 12 of 22, 153 yards. Does have that interception. Boy, Tennessee, you can just see they're flying around, having some fun. Their offensive success has certainly paid off in terms of the energy on the defensive side as well.
Yeah, it's definitely bled over into some of the things that they're doing from a defensive mindset. They're already an aggressive bunch, and that time you have just a little option game, and your corner, Taylor, is able to come off and make that play. Really another lost play as far as tackle for loss for that Tennessee defense.
3rd down and 10 now for the Tigers. They're 6 of 11 on 3rd downs. Pressure comes, and Bazelak just does get it off as he is getting thrown to the turf by Byron Young.
Tailback does a nice job of being able to pick it up, Beatty, but I mean, we've seen this pressure just frustrate that offensive line up front, and you're talking about a group that had not given up but 3 sacks all year, and there has been consistent pressure up front, and he's just able to split 2 guys, and quarterback doesn't really stand a chance. So if you're Missouri, you're talking about maybe possessing that football a little bit longer, and you don't even, I mean, it's 3 and out for you.
McGinnis. Jones makes a man miss. Still on his feet and out of bounds around the 42-yard line. Don't forget, 3:30 Eastern, more football coming your way right here on the SEC Network. Troy taking on South Carolina from Williams-Brice Stadium. And then at 7 o'clock Eastern time, an interesting matchup. Mississippi State, 15th ranked Texas A&M. It's the 15th meeting between A&M and the Bulldogs. Series dead even at 7 wins apiece.
Coach Leach's air raid against that defense of Texas A&M. That front four, probably one of the best in the country.
Inside handoff, another big hole. Whitehead, first down in Mizzou territory around the 44-yard line. They'll spot at the 43. So another big chunk on a first down. That's 15 more yards. Hooker coming near side. Dangerous pass, but grabbed there by Jones.
We've seen him run that little screen play a couple times, and it's just one-on-one situation, and you're banking on your receiver being able to block their corner, and that's what's happening.
Whitehead breaks a tackle to the 30. That's a first down. Give him 9.
Laneith Whitehead being able to get a little run here early.
Whitehead looking for a little bit of room to run. The hole closed up in a hurry. Fall forward for a couple. Jeff Coat there to lead the charge. And then Manuel comes in to help bring him down.
Gain of 3, ball at the 27. 2nd and 7, Tennessee.
Whitehead hit and dropped there. Devin Nicholson with his 4th tackle of the day. Only a 2-yard gain.
See if Tennessee uses one of those rub routes or pick plays, and if you're Missouri, you've got to be able to bring a little pressure here off the edge.
Tyon Evans, but Hooker will keep it here. Has the first down. Flag comes in though, right in the area of holding. That would have been enough for the first down. We'll see if it sticks. Well, it looks like Nicholson, who was in on that tackle, slow to get up.
Tennessee chooses to go with the quarterback draw.
Holding, number 58 on the offense. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Replay, 3rd down.
And that is the holding call that you called, and Tennessee not worrying about trying to throw the football and just run the quarterback draw, but guilty of holding in that situation.
Well, there is Jabari Small, who, as you talked about first quarter, left the game banged up, and it looks like he is done for the day, which is why we've been seeing a lot of Laneith Whitehead as a second-level running back behind Tyon Evans here in the second quarter.
Jabari, he and Evans, probably that 1-2 combo, and they did talk about getting Whitehead a little bit more involved, a little heavier back. We've seen him have success running the football here. I think this is a second, 3rd down situation for Tennessee in this first half.
3rd and 15. Just their 3rd down attempt.
That's tough.
Hooker over the middle. Another flag comes in. Again, right in the middle of that line of scrimmage. Jacob Warren makes the catch.
It's only 4-man pressure. So I'm unsure if, from a defensive line standpoint, was it hands to the face deal?
Personal foul, face mask on the defense, number 15. Penalty is half the distance to the goal from the end of the run. First down.
Johnny Walker got his hand up in that face mask, and that'll push the football well into the red zone. They're going to end up spotting it around the 11-yard line.
Yeah, and I think with that catch, they were going to be short, correct? First down wise,
yeah.
They were going to be short until it's another self-infliction as far as wound when you talk about Missouri.
Yeah, it would have been about 4th and 4.
Now I still think Tennessee would have gone for it.
Yeah.
But at least, you know, now you give them an automatic first down. It looks like they're just running this play clock down before they run another play.
Evans stuffed at the line of scrimmage. Maybe a yard.
Evans stopped by Aldridge for the Tigers.
Evans' helmet comes off, so he'll have to come out of the game.
Gain of 1 to the 10-yard line. Second down at 9, Tennessee.
Hey, coming up at halftime, you can watch the live performance of the Marching Mizzou on SEC Network Plus. You can start streaming that right now over on the ESPN app.
There was a Missouri player that had to come off the field as well because the play clock is running. I mean, the game clock is not running.
An offensive player's helmet came off. With less than a minute remaining, there's a 10-second runoff. Missouri has chosen the 10-second runoff. Tennessee has elected not to use a timeout to prevent that from happening. The clock will start on my signal. Please reset the game clock to 41 seconds.
Thank you, David. Play clock is reset, and we are ready for play. You're watching SEC Network Football presented by Allstate. That handoff goes to Whitehead. Leneath came in with 5 carries this year for 23 yards. He has 8 carries for 74 yards today.
Coach Heupel calls a timeout in that situation. He's let that play clock run down a little, and 25 seconds left in the half.
The game clock to 26 seconds.
They put another second back on it, and third down situation. And like you talked about earlier, Dave, you know, just really having a lot of success. The previous third down, they would have been short about 4 yards. But because of the face mask, a penalty against Walker, Johnny Walker, they're able to automatic first down, and so they're right on the verge of scoring again.
Well, coming into this game, there was a question of who would play quarterback for Tennessee. Joe Milton, Hendon Hooker. Well, it was Hendon Hooker who got the start today, and his first possession, beautiful pass to Javonte Payton for a touchdown. Hooker has been almost perfect. 8 of 9 for 137 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. He's also rushed the football for 40 yards, averaging 5 yards per carry. I would say that he looks really, really sharp.
If he is banged up, I would hate to see him at 100%.
Right. He has been solid today. Those are the numbers, actually 9 of 10 for $150. Shortchanged him a completion. Over the middle, pass is dropped. Trying to hit Payton again in the end zone, and now it's 4th and 7. They can get the first down inside the 1.
It's a nice job by Evans being able to dig this football out. You know, you see Payton almost come up with that catch. He's got to be able to have strong hands and extend his hands, but Evans did a nice job of being able to dig it out, rake it out, forcing Tennessee to have to at least settle for a field goal attempt here.
25-yard field goal attempt. Chase McGrath, the 5th-year senior out of Newport Beach, California. Good clean snap. Kick is on the way, and that kick is perfect. 19 seconds to go here in the second quarter. A first half that has been completely dominated by Tennessee in every facet of the game. And I'm not talking about running the football, throwing the football, stopping the run. It's also in as you've said, self-inflicted wounds. Missouri's had 8 penalties for 79 yards today.
Well, when you look at it as well, you know, Missouri knew that they had to do some different things, whether it was from an offensive standpoint. You had to handle the pressure. A couple times we've seen the quarterback, Connor, be able to drop back, and he's had a guy right in his face. You talk about the interception. I think it was 2 different pressures by Jeremy Banks, and that's what happened on the interception that he threw earlier in the game. And when you look at it as far as Tennessee offensively, you know, the question was, were they going to commit to running the football? And I definitely think you've seen them be able to do that.
Tennessee has 434 yards of offense in the first half.
And they average right at 487, a little bit under, around there, and you've got it in a half.
Yeah, they came in averaging 483 yards a game, and they're sitting at 434 in 2 quarters. They've run it for 297. Last week, Boston College ran for 275 against Missouri. Young on this return. He'll be out to the 33-yard line with 12 seconds to go in the first half. And I mean, I don't even know what, as a coach, what do you say to your team at half? 45-10. I mean,
well, we got a late flag, looks like, as well.
I mean, if you're Coach Drinkwitz, I mean, are you peeling paint, or you're like, hey, what do we, I mean?
Well, I think that he has to get his guys focused. And I mean, at this point, you know, I want to see who's going to.
Personal foul, blindside block, number 35 on the receiving team. Penalty is 15 yards from the end of the run. First down.
Another self-inflicted wound that you talked about. And so at this point, I want to see who's committed to us as far as the program. I mean, and that was one of the things that Coach Drinkwitz, he talked about, just being able to continue to change the culture. And, you know, right now you've got too many guys that are doing their own things, and it's hurting.
Handoff left side.
A.J. Harris, the ball carrier for the Tigers.
Harris on that carry for Missouri, and that'll do it. And if you're a Tennessee fan, I don't know that it could go any better. You had 7 possessions, you scored 6 touchdowns and had a field goal. If you're Missouri, you got to find out a way to stop somebody. Tennessee will also get the ball to start the 3rd quarter. It is 45-10 after 30 minutes of play in a game where the line was really just 3 points. Missouri was a 3-point favorite. Anyway, let's go down to Drea.
Coach, 28 first quarter points is the most since the year 2000. What are you the most pleased with offensively?
I think we've been able to have balance, been able to create explosive plays in the run game. Like what we're doing. We've executed in the pass game too. 30 more minutes of it. Obviously, we'd like to finish that last drive in a better way, but I thought our guys did a really good job adjusting to their front. They came out in a 3-man front, really hadn't shown that on normal downs. Guys adjusted and communicated and got us going.
And you've been able to get pressure on Connor Bazelak. What's been the key defensively?
Yeah, just relentless energy and pursuit up front. Like the technique that we're playing with. We're playing vertical on the line of scrimmage. Have handled their outside zone game really well on the edges. You know, one drive where they go and score that we need to be better. Got to clean that up, but go play 30 more minutes of football here.
Coach, thank you.
All right, appreciate it.
Back to you, Dave.
Boy, what a half for Josh Heupel and company. 45-10, they're out in front. Time for us to get it to the studio. Peter Burns, all yours. SEC Network Football presented by Allstate. Well, I would say that there aren't many people around the country thinking this would be the tally, 45-10, but that is the case. Dave Neal alongside my partner Deuce McAllister, and Deuce, certainly this was a shocking turn of events. And really when Tennessee came in here, we didn't know who was going to be their starting quarterback. We kind of felt like Hooker would be the guy, but boy, he looks 100% healthy. He's going, run game's going. It's been go, go, go for the Volunteers.
Yeah, it was all about the tempo, and that's how they like to do it. They like to play fast, and they were able to be able to just take advantage of some of the things that Missouri does from a defensive standpoint, and it really showed up in that first half for them.
Look at those first half highlights. Hendon Hooker with a great throw. Maybe his best throw of the day. Gets him a touchdown. And then they had 6 straight possessions. 6 straight possessions of touchdowns. There's a 92-yarder that would make it 3 for 3, and it never stopped.
really never stopped. And, whether you were talking about Evans, whether you were talking about Hooker, everybody really got involved. And, that's really who they wanted to be coming into this game, and it really just showed up.
Well, they put together 425 yards of offense. Look, Missouri put 210 on the board, right? Not a horrible performance from a yardage standpoint. Their problem became penalties. Eight penalties for 82 yards. Let's go downstairs, check in with Andrea.
Well, I caught up with Coach Drinkwitz coming out of halftime, and he was honest with his team. He told them, terrible first half. All we can do is control our fight in the second half. I asked him what he wanted to clean up, and he said tackles, penalties, the whole thing, guys.
Yeah, I can only imagine that wasn't a conversation he wanted to have. I don't know that it could go any worse, really, if you're Missouri. And then you give Tennessee the football to start the third quarter, and Hooker out over the 30 to the 31.
One thing changed right away. They go down with 4 defensive linemen down. At first, first half, it was 3 down. They've gone to 4 down defensive linemen.
Second and 5, Tennessee.
Evans. He'll have the first down at the 39-yard line, a 10-yard pickup.
Down to the 39-yard line. First down, Tennessee.
Well, you look at Hooker and Evans today. That has been marvelous work from those two guys. And even Evans had a touchdown, which we thought was a touchdown, taken off the board. Evans this time wrapped up on the spot by Martez Manuel, who now has 6 tackles today on the back end of that Missouri defense. No gain.
Missouri just showing some fight early on. Even though they picked up a first down, you see at least a fight from that defensive group.
Hooker throws a bullet right to midfield. Pass is caught there by Princeton Fant, and he'll have a first down at the 47-yard line of Missouri.
Pass complete to number 88, Princeton
Fant does a good job of coming across the middle in that zone and catching that pass from Hooker.
Tiger 47. Hooker's pass complete to number 1, Jones.
Jones on that reception. And an injured Missouri player right in the middle of that logo. Akil Byers.
Gain of 6, 1 at the 41.
Slow to get up.
That's one of the things that kind of happens to you when you talk about when a team goes fast against you, and hopefully it's not a serious injury. You talk about cramping up a little bit or maybe getting cut down. At least slows them down if you're trying to get a substitution or 2 into the game. I know a lot of fans and coaches don't like it, particularly when you got a team going at a great tempo against you.
Second and 4 ball, 1 of the 41.
Fant comes in motion, high snap, Evans handoff. He'll have the first down, dragging a couple of Tigers with him for an extra yard or 2. That's 6 more yards. Evans
Nicholson with the stop.
averaging right around 13 yards a carry today. Hooker to throw, hit as he throws, and forces it to sail above the hands of Cedric Tillman.
Hooker's pass intended for number 4, Tillman.
Dave, you heard the conversation by Coach Heupel at halftime with that 3-down look. In this drive, we've seen Missouri get more pressure out of their 4-down look than they really did all the first half. And so, just an adjustment that Tennessee has to kind of deal with, but it's something at least gives them a little juice.
Hooker will keep it, and he is slung to the turf. See if they call that a horse collar. Couldn't tell. Was that Kobe Whiteside? I think maybe got his hand in there.
I don't think it was up around the shoulder pads. It looked like it was all jersey that he pulled.
Yeah, it was jersey.
Personal foul, horse collar tackle, number 78 on the defense. Penalty is 15 yards added to the end of the run. First down.
I don't know about that one. I mean, that one,
Yeah, man, it looked like he just got him on the the jersey off the shoulder.
That's exactly what it was. It was never in the pads, as far as the pads pulling him back. And, you know, a lot of times you want to protect that player from injuring themselves as far as an ankle is concerned. That time, that was all jersey.
Yeah, you look at that nameplate, right? You just kind of keep an eye on that nameplate.
First down, Tennessee.
Well, Kobe Whiteside, unfortunately, gets hammered with that penalty.
That's a strong man, too.
Yes, he made that look really easy, didn't he?
Correct.
Yeah. Well, that'll push the ball to the 15-yard line. Hooker keeps it himself. He'll take it to the 10. Blaze Aldridge with his 4th stop today. 4 more yards on the ground.
Gain of 3. Ball just outside the 10-yard line. 2nd and 6, Tennessee.
Hooker spins down to the 10.
Hooker, stop by Aldridge.
Blaze Aldridge with another tackle. I'll tell you, this Tennessee offense today, and I know Missouri has not exactly been a brick wall to go through, but the offense today just looks really in sync for Tennessee with Hendon Hooker at quarterback.
Well, it really does, and with his ability to be able to run the football, it just gives them that extra guy, or at least makes it 11 on 11.
That one is batted away, trying to get it to Jones. And now it's 4th down. Abrams drained there defensively, and here comes the Tennessee field goal unit.
Drain just does a nice job here of just reading this slant. He's able to get his hand inside. He has every right to go after that football. And you talk about the effort. That's what you wanted to see, at least effort. You know, you may not have stopped them completely, but to force them to have to kick a field goal, I think that's a pretty good win for that Missouri defense.
27-yarder. He's hit from 25 today. As Chase McGrath. He is now 5 out of 6 on the year as he hammers that one through the uprights. 48-10 our new score. 11:44 to go, 3rd quarter. Back in a moment. Welcome back to SEC Network Football presented by Allstate. Don't forget that we have got football final coming your way tonight. There will be a lot to talk about, some big games in the league throughout the day. Roughly 10 o'clock Eastern time. Dari, Gene, CD take you through the biggest stories of the day and break down all those games for you right here on the SEC Network and, of course, the ESPN app. (48-10). This kick returnable. Abrams drain, coming near side. He's got a lot of room. I don't think anybody's going to catch him. That'll be a touchdown for Missouri.
You
100 yards.
You talk about a team that needed a little juice. Chris is able to do so with that return.
To attempt the extra point for the Tigers.
Harrison Mevis to attempt the point after. Chris Abrams drain. 100 yards. First Missouri kickoff return for a touchdown since 2014. And this is what it looks like.
He just does a nice job of just being able to set it, and Tennessee loses contain. Tyon Evans is, no, that's not Evans on that containment, but they lose contain on that. They'll set it Tillman as far as the contained player, and they just lose containment, and Chris Abrams drains is able to take it all the way. Former wide receiver. Just playing a little defensive back for him.
A little giddy up in that step. All right, well, there's something to hang your hat on, right? A little momentum. Only problem is you got to put your defense right back on the field.
That is correct, and the double numbers may have got me, Dave. I think that was Warren Burrell, defensive back, that loss contained. They have 2 number 4s.
One of these days, Deuce, one of these days, we're going to have just 1 number per player per team. That will sail through the end zone. So a 48-17 tally with 11:32 to go here in the 3rd quarter. And Missouri would do wonders to get a stop here. Hendon Hooker has been really good today, though. 11 of 15, 171, 2 touchdowns. He's also rushed the football today for 47 yards.
Well, that Missouri defense, you saw more life that last series than you did the whole first half. I mean, they at least were flying to the football. Now that Tennessee was still able to drive the football down the field, but at least you saw some life out of that defense.
The sun comes out right as the kick return, right? It's been overcast and drizzly all morning, and now the sun comes out. See if it doesn't shine on Missouri's defense. A lot of room here as Whitehead takes down over the 35 to the 35. That'll be good enough for the first down. Gain of 10. Oh, and Whitehead, who got hit hard on that last play, just sits down at the 30-yard line.
He never saw it. The defensive back, and yeah, he never saw him. They set up that screen, and he just comes off of the sideline almost in his race draw. He's over there fighting with the receiver, and Whitehead never saw him, and it actually, I think it just knocked the wind out of him. It was almost like Ennis comes off the sideline, but he's actually over there fighting with one of the receivers that was blocking him. And that was a nice screen that Tennessee set up. Nice design.
And Whitehead getting a lot of work. They told us he was going to get some work today, but with Jabari Small getting a little nicked up in the first half, it's provided the opportunity for Whitehead to get a bunch of carries. Here's Evans. He bounces off a couple of Tiger defenders, and he'll pick up 7 yards before he was run out of bounds.
Second time you've seen Evans use his speed to really just be able to outrun Blaze Aldridge and come up and break a tackle there as well.
Quick snap. Martez Manuel comes up to trip up Tyon Evans.
Stop by Manuel.
So now it's 3rd down. Tennessee 1 out of 4 on 3rd downs. Hooker all day to throw. Pass is caught there. Jones spins out of trouble, moves it into Missouri territory at the 45.
Tennessee has done a great job as far as yak yardage, just being able to catch the football and just making a move, making a guy miss and pick up more yardage.
That's a 15-yard pickup. Evans running off that right side inside the 40.
Dave, I know they've shuffled a lot of players around that offensive line, but they have gotten pushed up front all day.
Evans sees a little seam, will pick up 5 in the first down.
And that's back-to-back plays, the same play. Missouri tries to rotate that defensive line to see if they get some push going back the other way. But that front, they've shuffled some guys around up front, but they're winning up front. That battle of line of scrimmage is being won right now by Tennessee.
Hooker will keep it. Breaks a tackle, first down to the 20, and will get out of bounds. Right around the 11-yard line, another missed tackle. That's 11 of those today for Missouri. 17 yards on that game.
I love the decision here by Hooker. You had the option to throw it in the flat. The defender bites. He gets too aggressive, leaves kind of throws his hands up, jumps a little bit, and Hooker does the right thing by taking off and running the football. And Coach Heupel slows it down a little bit from their normal breakneck pace that they like to go at.
Marcus Pierce in at running back, the senior out of Dallas, Texas, to the right of Hooker. He'll get the carry here and try to bulldoze his way for a couple of yards. Hit there by Akil Byers.
Manuel with the stop on Zoom. 82. Second down, 8-14.
Here goes Pierce off the right side. Flag comes in the Tennessee backfield. A 14-yard run. This one may be coming back, and there's an injured Vol as well.
Holding, number 66 on the offense. 10-yard penalty, replay, second down.
Well, that's a double whammy for Dane Davis, as he also is the injured volunteer. He got hurt earlier on an extra point attempt back in the first quarter.
Looked like that left leg kind of gave out on him there at the end, and I agree with you, Dave. He kind of pulled in that left leg.
That's Davis on the right side, and well, you're right. Looks like that leg just gave out on him. That touchdown run will be coming back, and we'll come back as well. Dane Davis, the big right tackle, just got hurt a moment ago. 6'7", 325 out of Bluff City, Tennessee. Going into that medical tent. We'll try to get an update on his status. And Deuce hit on it as we're going to break. I mean, there's just not a whole lot of bodies over there on the offensive line. They came in with really 7 guys that they could roll in there. They just can't afford any injuries, and that's a tough break there with Dane Davis. Cooper Mays already out today. Kingston Harris out today.
Second and 18, Tennessee.
There's Marcus Pierce. He is stopped by Devin Nicholson, who now has 5 tackles.
Tennessee running a little counter play, and like you said, you see at least Missouri is fighting back. The first half they weren't fighting back at all.
Third and a long way to go. They got to get all the way down to the 6-yard line. Hooker over the middle, passes, caught, touchdown Tennessee on 3rd and 18. They hit a 24-yard touchdown pass. Cedric Tillman caps it off with the good reception.
Dave, you have man-to-man on the outside, and it's a switch route. And Hooker wanted to go to the outside receiver, didn't like that look. There's no safety over the middle, and that's tough, particularly when it's 3rd down and long. I mean, if anything, I'm going to play zone on the back end and make him just be able to make a perfect throw, but that's one-on-one coverage.
Point after is up and good. Hooker now with 3 touchdown passes today. 218 yards through the air. The last 24 go to this guy right here, Cedric Tillman. They wanted to get him the football, and they certainly have. It's 55-17. 55-17, 554 yards of offense for Tennessee in this one. It has been pretty much all the Big Orange. 7:25 to go. Yes, it's a day to be sad if you're a Missouri football fan. It has not been your day, really, from the opening kick. Speaking of kicks, Toby Wilson getting a workout today. That one bounds through the end zone. Let's go back to that last touchdown, Deuce. What was going on in the back end for Missouri?
Well, you had man across as far as they were matched up as far as man-to-man, and then you had one of your safeties. Here's the better shot of it. You've got a deep safety, and then you've got the play side safety. He's in the box. And, you know, technically, he doesn't have a man. He's either spying the quarterback or he and the other linebacker have the running back, and so he gets caught up in the wash and really ends up not guarding anybody. And so you're talking about your two corners looking for some help and no help really being there.
Yeah, on 3rd and 18. First down and 10 here for Missouri. First play for this Missouri offense of the 3rd quarter. Remember, Tennessee got the football first, drove it down, got a field goal. Then the next kickoff was returned by Abrams, drained 100 yards for a touchdown. And then that long drive resulted in another touchdown. So it's been a while since Bazelak and offense has been on the field. You see his numbers, 13 of 24. Had that one interception that set up Tennessee on the 1-yard line. Here's Beatty. Will be just shy of the line to gain. Give him 3.5. Brought down by Banks. Banks having some kind of day today. Been involved. 4 tackles, 1 behind the line. Has a sack, an interception, a couple of pressures. They actually give them the first down. They said the nose of the football touched the 35.
I agree with you on Banks. He's had consistent pressure when they've brought pressure up the middle and then just being around the football.
Dump it off underneath. A couple of blockers out there for Beatty, and he'll get it to the 40, give him 5 yards.
So I thought one of the things that Missouri did, hurting themselves in the first half, was those penalties by those offensive linemen. You know, whether it was a long screen play or a long run, back-to-back plays almost, they had penalties.
Boy, nowhere for Beatty to run. Tennessee's front wall stops Beatty for a loss of 3. Aaron Beasley, the first one there.
It's probably the 3rd or 4th time they run that counter play. 2 times they had holding calls, and the other times it's those results. And Tennessee has just been able to hit that play with, they're not sitting back and waiting. They're coming and pressuring the point of attack right away.
7 tackles behind the line for this Tennessee defense. Over the middle, pass caught there by J.J. Hester out to midfield. That'll be a first down after 14 yards.
Hester does a nice job on this dig route or in route. He and Connor are on the same plays. A lot of body, a lot of traffic in the middle of the field. Does a nice job of keeping his focus and keeping his eyes on the football.
Pressure comes. Bazelak sees it, gets rid of it in a hurry. And Chance Looper makes a catch. That's a first down, a gain of 11.
And this is kind of what you thought you would see from this offense early in the game.
Beatty dropped again for a loss. They'll lose 4 on that one, man. Roman Harrison making the open field tackle. That is 8 behind the line now.
Loss of 4 yards.
That defense is very, very active, and it's bothered the offensive line, whether it's being pressure or in the run game.
B.J. Harrison at running back. Bazelak trying to buy a little time, does so. Dropped out of bounds. It has not been a good day for Keke Chisholm.
That second one, and he's dropped 1. McDonald came down with the hit on from his safety position, and that's just a drop. Probably focused too much on getting his feet down to make sure that he was inbound. He's got to come up with the catch first.
Bazelak trying to get rid of it and does so. Gets it to B.J. Harris, who was caught almost as soon as he caught the football. No gain on the play.
Bazelak just does a nice job of just being able to find his outlet receiver, and you're kind of in no man's land as far as, do you punt it? You're down a lot, so at this point you feel like you have to go for it, but it's a long fourth down play here.
Over the middle, and that one is picked off. Jalen McCullough with the interception. The second pick today for this Tennessee defense. And in the last 11 quarters, this group now has 6 interceptions.
Well, one thing I can tell you, Dave, I think it was the first play of the game that they had a chance, and it was Christian Charles that hit him in the hands.
Yeah.
Everything else they've been able to come up with, and this one, the receiver gets his hands on it. Receiver gets his hands on it, and the safety is just in the right place. I mean, that's just a tip drill, something that you work on every day, and Jalen McCullough comes up with the interception, and that's the second interception of the day for this Tennessee Vols defense.
And the second interception, career interception for Jalen McCullough. Boy, it's been that kind of day for Connor Bazelak. Handoff goes to Jalen Wright, the freshman running back. Dances around for 4 yards. Boy, Tennessee's defense has been opportunistic. Tennessee is a team the last 2.5 games now, +6 in the turnover margin area. Well, a couple of good blocks there will free up the freshman Jalen Wright. He'll have the first down.
Dave, you're not talking about on the season. You mean in the last 2 games alone.
Right. Turns the corner and will pick up 9.
They run that stretch play just to test the speed of the linebackers, and most of the time Tennessee has been able to get to the edge.
Right, trying to get a couple of yards for that first down, and he'll have it just barely. Freshman out of Durham, North Carolina, came in with 24 carries, 72 yards, a couple of touchdowns, was ranked atop 79th running back in the country coming out of high school. Hooker spins out of trouble, and he will go down at the 17-yard line. Give him 7.5, maybe 8 when it's all said and done.
He saw pressure off of the edge, and he did the right thing being able to pull it. That was Jeffcoat that had that pressure off of the edge, and probably would have disrupted the handoff there to the back. And so Hooker does a nice job of just pulling that football and picking up yardage himself.
First pressure recorded by Missouri's defense today.
That's tough. That is tough. I know they had an opportunity early and pressured Hooker a little bit, but can't win many football games like that.
Hooker will keep it here. He is slung to the turf. Dalen Carlisle making the play in the back end, the sophomore out of Orlando.
And I don't think they don't have to run another play this quarter. And I don't think they are going to run it. Dave, and the question becomes, if you score here with Hooker being a little banged up already, do you pull him?
You know, yeah, I would say yes. Joe Milton, no, not exactly 100%. They said he's much better at practice this week. They didn't want to throw him in there last week, but they kind of had to. You do have Harrison Bailey, who's played some football for Tennessee, that could take some snaps for you. But Hendon Hooker and company in complete control. They have been since we got this one started. The bright spot was the 100-yard kickoff return from Chris Abrams-Drain. Other than that, it's been all Tennessee. Fourth quarter football coming up on the other side. 55-17 our tally. Tennessee out in front of Missouri. Josh Heupel When he was here in 2016 and 17, he turned things around. Missouri's offense was averaging 13 points a game when he took over, and they quickly went to 35 and 38 his last year before going to UCF. And you see what they did with Drew Lock with 44 touchdown passes that year. And this offense looks very similar, the Tennessee offense does, to what they were trending towards when he was at Missouri. And today's numbers are quite impressive. They're closing in on 600 yards of offense with a full quarter left. 422 yards a game is what they were averaging coming in, and obviously that's going to creep up quite a bit after today's performance. Here comes Hooker trying to get out of bounds, and he is hit, and no flags. He pops up in a hurry. Devin Nicholson, the first one there.
Same play that they ran earlier where he was able to get on the previous drive, where he was able to get 7 yards down the field, and this time Missouri does a better job at least covering it. If you're Tennessee, that's the worry that you have with Hooker, that he runs so much, and looks like Heupel is going to call a timeout here. Well, I think they're going to reset the play clock.
There is no timeout on the field. There is no timeout on the field. Please reset the play clock to 25 seconds.
Yeah, and that's what it was. Coach Heupel was going to use one of his timeouts. He didn't like, I guess, where the play clock was, and so the referee did reset it for him. But if you're Tennessee, that's what you worry about. You worry about Hooker already being banged up a little bit, and him maybe taking a shot here late in a game that you control.
Out of that pistol formation, quick handoff goes to Marcus Pierce off the right side. He'll just get a yard or two. But there by Byers. We were talking about Coach Heupel coming back to Columbia, where he spent a couple of years, and when we asked him about it, he says, man, he has nothing but great memories here. Loved the community. His wife still got a bunch of friends in the area, and said it was just an awesome 2 years and a great experience, and really kind of propelled him to where he is today when you think about it. The offensive coordinator in 16-17, then went to UCF and took over a team that was already rolling along, but he certainly kept them rolling in the right direction. And then found an opening at Tennessee and took it. Velus Jones hit by Chris Abrams' drain. That'll be good enough for a first down. It'll be first and goal after a 7-yard pickup.
Just a slant route that they're able to throw out of a trips formation. You know that you're going to get a lot of man-to-man coverage on the back end from Missouri. And Tennessee is just taking advantage of it.
A little different scenario this week than we had last week.
Just a little bit.
We were at Georgia State Auburn, which came down to a 4th down and 9 pass play with 45 seconds to go in the game. That handoff off the left side to Pierce. They'll get it down to the 2-yard line.
Well, Georgia State takes a, 12-point lead into the 4th quarter?
Yeah.
Make a quarterback change there, and Auburn has a big matchup tonight.
Will it be Finley or will it be Bo Nix at quarterback? Here's Marcus Pierce. They're going to spot him down just inside the 1.
Tennessee has their version of their jumbo with 2 tight ends, 2 receivers, and 1 back in the ball game, and we've seen them go fast here the previous play, and now it looks like they're going to just run a little time off this play clock. And you're inside the 1. Like Hooker as a runner in this situation.
They'll give it again to Pierce, and no gain on the play. He gets hit right at the line of scrimmage. Well, that's a lot of big bodies down there on that goal line.
They bring in Tyon Evans to kind of finish this play off. Pierce, we tried to give you 3 chances or 2 chances down there on that goal line. You weren't able to put it in, and kind of agree with Coach Heupel here. It's hard to kick a field goal in this situation.
Well, let's see if Evans can pick up his 4th touchdown of the day on the ground. Bouncing around, dives for it. Let's see. On 4th and goal, they're going to say no, he didn't make it. Well, it looked like he reached right there at the end.
I don't know if that ball crossed the plane, at least broke it, but there was penetration. Missouri did get penetration in the backfield, and we haven't seen a lot of that until that defense is able to get some penetration and prevent a touchdown.
Did he get in, or was he stopped? Ooh, that's going to be close. We'll probably have to update that when we come back. Josh Heupel was talking to a few of our officials today, asking maybe look at this one more time. He thinks this guy Evans got in, and we tend to agree. We looked at it 3 or 4 times, but they're not going to replay this. It looks like he's just laying on bodies and not on the ground. Nonetheless, Missouri will get credit for the stop on 4th and inches and come out of their end zone. Keke Chisholm with a catch and a run. Keke, who's had a tough day, out to midfield and pushed out of bounds. Kenneth George comes over to push him out of bounds, but a 56-yard pickup on 1st and 10 in the shadows of the goalpost.
Pressure off of the edge there from Tennessee, and it's just a slant route, and he's able to make a guy miss at the point of attack, and nobody can catch him after that.
Bazelak throws on the run over the middle and a little bit behind. And he's just telling his target.
That's Wentz in the tight end. He
Sit
wanted
down.
to sit down.
Yeah.
I mean, because it's zone. And so he basically is trying to tell him to sit down in the zone. And I will get you the football. I mean, against man, you want him to keep running, but in the zone, just sit. Connor's a smart quarterback as well.
Pass is caught by Toski Dove. Gain of 7.
That's what you see Dove do against that zone. He just goes to the void. He goes to the void in that zone, and ball is there on time. You know, Tennessee will concede yards. They don't want to give up any points, but they'll concede yards right now at this point in the ball game.
11 different Missouri receivers have caught a pass today. Underneath to Chisholm. That's good enough for a first down. 4-yard pickup, and Bazelak up over 250 yards now through the air. Came in averaging 300 yards per game.
That's the same.
Another injured Tennessee Vol. We'll get an update when we come back.
SEC Network Football is presented by Allstate. Save money like a champion with Allstate.
(55-17). Let's get it up. 55-17. Our score. Tennessee out in front. Complete control of this one. Let's get to the studio and get an update.
All right, Dave. Peter Burns here with the AT&T 5G studio update. No JT Daniels, no problem for the Georgia Bulldogs. This time they handed out to Zamir White. Another touchdown for him. Georgia's now outscored opponents 202-23 as they're up 37-0 over the Hogs.
Yeah, I didn't see that 37-0 type of game. I just felt Georgia's really, really good. Arkansas not quite there yet, but That was another dominating performance, or is another dominating performance by the Bulldogs. This is looking more like a Georgia-Alabama collision course.
I agree with you there. That Georgia defense, man, they've got speed, they've got size, and you got playmakers. Even without JT Daniels on offense, they still look pretty good.
Second down, Bazelak. High throw, but caught there by Chisholm. Certainly helps when your guy 6'5" can go up and get it for you.
Nice job of picking up the pressure off of the edge, and Chisholm does a nice job of being able to high point this football. Downing picks up the blitz off of the edge and does the right thing, going up and high pointing that football, catching it at the point of attack, attacking the football for the first down.
Bazelak dumps it off to the tight end, Daniel Parker, and he'll have it at the 12-yard line. Just shy of the first down.
That RPO look, you have all three actions: the fake to the running back, the quarterback giving the threat of running the football, and then once that guy releases off of right there with the tight end, he threw it to the tight end to pick up about 9 yards.
Handoff left side goes to Dawson Downing. He will have enough for the first down. Coming around the edge with Young, and he will be popped at the 5-yard line. A big collision there, but it'll be second down and goal from the 4. Jalen McCullough on the spot for Tennessee.
You got your quarterback out there lead blocking a little bit. There was a couple inside handoff and an offset, almost like a wishbone formation with an offset, and Connor Bazelak out there lead blocking on that play.
Trying to stretch it on an inside handoff to Boo Smith, who will score. Boo Smith, the senior.
Little speed sweep here to Boo Smith, and he's able to just use that speed. Nice block there by Parker to be able to get the edge for him on the speed sweep. And Missouri with 2 nice plays to come up with a touchdown here.
Mevis point after, up and good. Second touchdown of the year for Boo Smith. It is 55-24. 5:47 to go. Time to take a look at today's Capital One rewarding performance. And I'll tell you what, it's been a really good day for number 5 in whites. Hendon Hooker has been as sharp as you would want your quarterback to be. He has completed 15 of 19 for 3 touchdowns. And he has done a nice job in the run game as well. 74 yards on the ground, averaging over 5 yards a carry. And not a lot to complain about for old Hendon Hooker today. By the way, I need to backtrack a little bit. On that 4th down play where we thought that Tennessee got in the end zone, they actually did review that play during the timeout, but they said he didn't get in.
About 15 minutes until kickoff in Columbia. Kevin Harris, unbelievable sophomore season, looking to start getting ramped up, but going against a Troy team that has the 5th best scoring defense in FBS. Hey, Deuce McAllister, what you thinking about Ole Miss and Alabama a little bit later as well?
Tough matchup when anytime that you can go to Tuscaloosa and play against a Nick Saban Alabama team. That's a tough matchup for any team, but you have to like the confidence that Lane and his guys have right now going into Tuscaloosa.
Chris Doering's all in on Ole Miss tonight.
I like the matchup, but it's going to be tough. You've got to create some turnovers.
Georgia just put it on Arkansas. 37-0. Joe Milton in the game at quarterback, looking like a running back. Huge gain for Joe coming off the bench. His first play all the way down to the Missouri 40-yard line. Finally brought down by Carlisle. Joe looks pretty healthy. That was 35 yards on the run.
Well, that was one thing that you kind of wondered, just with Tennessee having this game in hand. Hooker's already banged up. You didn't want him to kind of get hurt here in the end, in the fourth quarter, with having that lead that you did have. So good to get Joe some action there, and he looks like he's healthy as well.
Marcus Pierce, the ball carrier for the Vols.
Gain of 5. Under 5 minutes to go in this one. Tennessee has put together 600 yards. Actually 634 yards. It's their first 600-yard game of offense since they had 609 against Missouri back in 2016.
I really want to see where this Missouri team goes moving forward. I mean, because I think when you talk about just effort, it was a lot better effort in the second half, but you've got to play a complete game like that.
On second down, they will hand it off to Marcus Pierce. Get a couple, it'll be third down coming up for Tennessee.
Wherever fun happens, Academy Sports and Outdoors is there.
And we are here at Columbia, Missouri. Dave Neal, Deuce McAllister, Andrea Carter on the sidelines. Tennessee just chewing up some of this clock. It's been a tough day for that man. Eli Drinkwitz watched his defense just kind of crumble in the first half. And that'll be a first down for Tennessee. I want to go back. We had a chance to see Tyon Evans possibly get his 4th touchdown rush of the game earlier in this fourth quarter, and it was 4th down and just inches, and Missouri looks like they got the stop. I just want to clarify that play was reviewed. I don't want people to think that it wasn't reviewed. There was a timeout. We went to break, and during that break, the replay booth was looking at it. Now, you can debate whether or not you think he got in or not, but I just want to make sure you understand that play was reviewed. They're all reviewed, and but we can differ on the outcome of that. We still think he got in. Marcus Pierce on the carry. Evans denied the 4th touchdown. He had a 4th touchdown earlier today, but they took it off the board. And then Hendon Hooker would end up scoring a moment later.
And on that particular play, it just, we couldn't tell well enough whether his knee was down. And the view that we had, it did not look like his knee was down. It looked like he was able to stretch it in, but replay officials said otherwise, and it was a turnover on downs for the Tennessee.
Clock approaching 2 minutes. Here goes Marcus Pierce to the end zone. Touchdown. 27 yards on the carry. The walk-on getting him 6.
This is just a nice job of running the football. Your offensive line does a good job, but I mean, you've got too many bad angles. Allie Green does a bad job of being able to get out of position, and once he takes that angle from his corner position, there is no run support out there, and he goes in untouched. Marcus Pierce does.
Point after up and good by Chase McGrath. 62 on the board. It's the most points Tennessee has scored since they put up 63 against the Missouri Tigers in that game back in 2016. A good day all the way around for Tennessee. It'll be a nice flight home for sure for Josh Heupel and his volunteer football team. Tyon Evans said he was going to have some fun today against this Missouri defense, and a lot of people giving him grief. I would say he's had a pretty good day.
I would agree with you, and this gives them another opportunity towards their bowl opportunity.
That's a pretty good sign right there. He wins. Hey, coming up at 3:30 Eastern, Troy takes on South Carolina. And then at 7, our SEC Saturday night matchup presented by T-Mobile features Mississippi State and 15th ranked Texas A&M. And then following all that at 10 o'clock Eastern, SEC football final. Dari, Gene, Chris take you through the biggest stories of the day and break down all those games for you. It's all right here on the SEC Network and, of course, the ESPN app. One app, one tap. Taken at the 1-yard line by Abrams Drain. This time, no 100-yard return. Go back to 1999, Deuce. You remember that year. You remember this guy. We talked about it a little bit last night. A matchup between Oklahoma and Ole Miss in the Independence Bowl. There's my man right there, 22. Had a great game against Oklahoma. You guys would put it on the Sooners. Look at you go. We talked last night, and Josh Heupel said, he told Coach, he threw for a bunch of yards in that game. He told Coach Stoops, don't kick it off to Deuce. And they kicked it off to you, and you took it back like 45 yards to set up an opening drive. You guys would go on to win that one 27-25. What a game, huh?
Had to rub it in a little bit to him, because they would go ahead and reel off like 24, 25 games in a row as far as not losing. And so that was pretty special.
The final game of the century. That pass is caught on the far side by Toski Dove. Still on his feet and pushed out of bounds. Gain of 37, but yeah, Josh Heupel he didn't want to talk about it too much. You wanted to talk about it. He was like, yeah, can we talk about something else?
Yeah. Move on, guys. We want to keep the focus on the main thing.
He did throw for 390 yards in that game. Well, coming up next for Tennessee, they will get a date with South Carolina at home next Saturday. Meanwhile, there'll be homecoming here for Missouri. They will host North Texas. And then it's Texas A&M at Vandy at Georgia coming up for the Tigers. But Tennessee's got to be feeling pretty good where they are today when they leave this stadium. I mean, I think it was a pretty complete effort in all phases of the game.
Yeah, I definitely think so. I mean, when you look at it and just question marks on your roster, you didn't know how good this team could be, but if they can continue to do what they've done the last 2 weeks as far as Tennessee, I think that they're going to put themselves in a nice position to at least go bowling this year.
Yeah, had a really good first half, looked very competitive against Florida. Things kind of fell apart when Hooker went out of that game last weekend, so the score kind of got away from a little bit, 38-14 final score. But yeah, there's certainly something to build upon here, and if Hooker can continue to play at this kind of level, they're always going to have a chance.
I agree with you. I mean, because his ability to be able to run the football allows him to play not with a man down normally how you have to do.
Tennessee's going to walk out of here with 677 yards of offense, 452 yards rushing, 452 on the ground. That sounds like an Army game.
Yeah, I mean, that's tough. You knew that you were playing run defense as far as Missouri. It was one of the worst, next to last, as far as run defense is concerned. Last total defense in the SEC, and that's something that Coach Wilkes and those guys, they have to figure out. I mean, because they switched defense as far as fronts were concerned in the second half, but I mean, still gave up a ton of yardage.
Before we get out of here, I want to say best of luck to our Associate Director, Craig Rothberg, who I've known for 30-something years. He's going to leave our family here at ESPN and go do some NBA basketball in Milwaukee, and this is his final game with us. And Craig, great working with you. There's a look at the family, and Oh, excuse me. I said Milwaukee. He's going to. Hopefully, he won't go to Milwaukee. He's going to go to Minnesota. That's where he's supposed to go. If he goes to, although knowing Craig, he might end up in Milwaukee. Oh, but Craig, listen, man, it's been great working with you. We'll see you down the road, I'm sure. But done a fantastic job with us here at ESPN over the years, and thankful for our friendship for 30-something years, going back to Florida State days.
Craig's going to the champions.
Well, the champion of today belongs to the Big Orange. They put up 62 on Missouri, 62-24. The final score. Josh Heupel has to be excited with the way things turned out today. Got a healthy quarterback. He'll leave here somewhat healthy as they put up 677 yards of offense. Hooker 15 of 19. 452 on the ground. So for my partners, Deuce McAllister, Andrea Carter down on the sidelines, and the rest of our exceptional SEC Network crew, I'm Dave Neal saying so long from Columbia, Missouri, all Tennessee today. We will see you next week for another edition of SEC Football. Coming up next, SEC Now, presented by Yellowwood. Let's get you to the studio. Peter.